Hey guys, here's another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Shinkalion E5 Hayabusa 10th anniversary from Shinkansen Henkei Robo Shinkalion the Animation. This is a remade version of the original Shinkalion E5 Hayabusa done up in the Shinkalion Change the World style, released as part of the Shinkalion 10th anniversary project. The set includes several things: the E5 Hayabusa, a set of combination parts, a display stand, and several armor parts to help it recreate the original look. So, let's get started. First up, we'll take a look at the E5 Hayabusa in its train mode. Now, at a glance, this looks identical to the one that was released as the original Change the World E5 Hayabusa, and for the most part it is. Has the same design and same color scheme as it is trying to recreate the same train. Though if you look here at the back, you'll see that the parts that kind of expose the inner frame are done up in gray instead of green. And that also applies to the combination parts, which have the same paint apps and same stickers, but are done up in gray plastic instead of green. And of course they stick onto the back and can be rolled along. Next, we'll look at the rail stand. So, this is a pretty simple piece of plastic that on front has a sticker labeled as Shinkalion E5 Hayabusa. You can see it's designed like railroad tracks on the top, and even has a set of faux stairs as if, to display an actual train and for people to potentially climb up and take a look up close. Now on the bottom, this can actually be used as a way to contain all of the different armor parts. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, I'm going to take this head armor piece and plug it into this spot here. Going to take the folded up sword piece, flip it around like this, and plug it into here. Take the waist armor piece, I'm going to plug it into here. Then we're going to take these leg armor pieces and plug them into these two spots so they'll cover up the waist armor. Going to take these pieces, which will become wing parts, and plug them into these holes on the side, using the peg on the back. And finally we'll take this shin armor, flip it around, and having the divot on the inside, I'm going to plug it into these square pegs up top like this. Then you have everything all hidden away flush. And with that, you can take your Shinkalion and split it on top. And as you'll see, this stand is actually going to be useful for helping between this and the other 10th anniversary Shinkalion that was released. Then we'll take a look at Shinkalion E5 Hayabusa in the default robot mode. Now this has the exact same transformation as the Change the World E5 Hayabusa, so I skipped the transformation. If you want to see that, you can take a look at my review of E5 Hayabusa trailer form. But basically we're only going to be taking a quick look at this because this is not the full E5 Hayabusa for this set. We bring in the CW E5 Hayabusa. You can see the visual differences. First off, we have the head, which is based on the original version of the E5 Hayabusa's head. You can see the green part now swapped out for gray. The sticker designs on the arms and legs are different. In addition, it has new stickers added to the thighs to help better replicate the look of the original, which we'll see when we get everything attached. So while you do have this mode, this is basically just a base for the full recreation. So from there, we're going to bring in the stand with the armor parts and get those out and attach to the robot. To start, we'll bring out these two shin armor pieces. We'll flip them around. And with this part facing outwards, I'm going to plug them into the shin ports. And I'll come down here to these pieces. I'll flip them so that I have the nose facing outwards. For each one, we've got a little peg in these on the inside that we're going to fold out. And attach to the peg on the side of the knee. Like that. The same on the other side. Going to take out the waist armor. Plug it onto the front of the waist. Take out the wing pieces. And with the paint facing outwards, I'm going to attach this one to a hole in the back of the shoulder armor. And then this hole will attach to the peg on the other shoulder armor. Finally, we'll take out the weapon, the KAISATSU sword, fold it out, and place it in the right hand. And here we have Shinkalion E5 Hayabusa in its full robot mode. So let's take a closer look. Now with this, we get everything attached and you can more clearly see the details. It's got these energy wings, which were probably the inspiration for the wings on the CW's E5 Hayabusa trailer form. And do match up quite nicely with the green-pink colors. The waist armor now gives it a much different look here at the lower body. And you can see that it has stickers on it to match up with the other stickers to help it get that look. You have the weapon here, which is pretty cool for having this fold-out blade with a clear pink energy blade inside it. You also see the sticker in there. And we have the pieces of leg armor, and you can kind of see that these look like they're meant to go together, and this is a quirk of the design of the original sets of Shinkalion, where what differs from the modern ones is that with the old ones, they consisted of 3 train cars, the first, middle, and last. However, only the first and last were used to make the robot mode, and so while the first car made up the top half, the last car made up the bottom half, and so basically you'd have these panels that fold off to the sides to create the leg armor, and it does look pretty good like that. And if you want to get even closer to the way it looks in the series, you can actually kind of tilt these pieces at a slightly back angle. And what's nice is this doesn't interfere at all with any of the articulation, as it is meant to go along with the articulation rather than conflict with it. And in a certain sense, this also helps give these a bit of a better proportion than the old ones have, because from what I've seen of videos and pictures, just due to the way they transformed, they were a bit odd and lanky, but this kind of gives them a more slimmed down profile. And of course, being E5 Hayabusa, you can also the front part for the Grand Cross cannon. Of course, being part of the Shinkalion CW system, this E5 Hayabusa can be combined with air vehicles for a vehicle combination, and just as a quick example, here is original E5 Hayabusa trailer form. And as you can see, the parts are quite a natural fit, even down to the wings, and as you can see, the wings in the full version are angled downwards, which does kind of explain why in the anime, that's also the default position of the wings for this mode when they're not being deployed. Of course, the pegs are still a little bit shallow, so you gotta be careful of that. But like this, you can kind of see that the trail form was almost like an evolution of the original E5 Hayabusa. And finally, another benefit of being part of the Shinkalion CW system is that it can be combined with two other Shinkalion to form a Shinkalion SRG. In this case, I've combined it with Shinkalion 0 and Shinkalion 300 to form Shinkalion SRG E50-300. And as you can see, it is definitely pretty cool to have this basically mix of green with the shades of white and grey. And since the base body is also grey, it also helps them fit together a little bit better. And because there is technically no combined weapon here, we can improvise and add something like the Air Trailer's SRG weapon, so it can at least be armed with something. And there we go. So overall, I'd say this is a very good recreation of the E5 Hayabusa. As someone who never really owned the original one, since I only started collecting these with the Change the World series, I do appreciate the efforts they went to creating these new parts that help to recreate the look and feel of the OG Shinkalion within the CW system, and it definitely does look like a bit of a different beast than the newer one, especially because they even took time to add in details like extra stickers and, just making sure the parts did mimic the old ones while not really conflicting with the way these are meant to be posed and articulated. And of course it also includes a nice little commander display stand, which is very good for both being a display stand and for being able to store all of the extra pieces. Of course it has all the functionality that a CW Shinkalion would have, but there is an extra feature that I can't show until my next review, since this is one of 2 anniversary Shinkalion released for the CW system. Next time I'll be reviewing the Shinkalion Z E5 Yamanote 10th anniversary. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KAISATSU, riding off.